welcome to another episode of Two Geeks and a Load Balancer. I'm Nathan, this is Chris, and we're still talking about Kubernetes. Along with this, with Kubernetes, how do I do advanced routing? How do I do advanced services like application security, etc.?
Good question. So we'll break that down into a couple of different methods. From a traffic routing perspective, so fundamentally we've got to use something at layer 7 or 8 to do advanced traffic routing, and that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about sort of path-based routing, host-based routing. But what happens if we want to extend that, right? What happens if I want to do some level of canary-based routing? What happens if I want to do traffic weighting? Thinking of typical use cases, I've got new software rolling out, V2 software, and I want to test 10% of my application traffic. I want to send that traffic there. So maybe I want to insert a cookie, and if that cookie is there, I want to send it off to a particular service. And the way we do that with so number one, you can't do that with a service type load balancer. It's operating at layer 4, so just simply no way to do that. So I need something higher up the stack. Ingress is a very good way to do it, and Gateway API is as well. But for an Ingress, typically, so the Ingress API, if you look at it, is pretty limited. I think we talked about this before, but it's fundamentally, it's a listener, it's an FQDN, maybe a path-based route, and maybe some TLS decryption. That's pretty much all it can do. So if I do want to do canary-based or something of that nature, I need to extend it. And how do I do that? And this is where things get a little trickier, and it depends on what Ingress controller you are using. For example, obviously with Avi, we use a concept called custom resource definitions. Custom resource definitions are a Kubernetes-native way of kind of an extending an API. And we use them. We have a couple of them. We have a host rule CRD. We have HTTP rule CRD. And what they do is you think of Avi as like a fully fledged enterprise-grade load balancer. We are basically bringing all that advanced feature set to Kubernetes. And so that's how you can tie in things like HTTP policies to do canary-based routing or traffic weighting or do things of that nature. Outside of Avi, if you look at other Ingress controllers, Nginx is obviously a very popular one. You might use annotations. So what you'll do is in your Ingress definition, under the metadata, you can add annotations, and you can basically list out what you want to do. This advanced traffic routing things, you can like list them out. And so it's horses for courses. We think CRDs are better because they're a little bit more extensible, and you can combine RBAC with them. But that's my opinion. But other people obviously have different opinions, and everybody's welcome, as they say. So yeah,
that makes sense. No, the CRD concept makes sense, where it's a little bit more extensible, and then when you can start layering in basically security and things like that.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's something where, if you're just kind of a DIY kind of a person, just kind of playing around with this in a lab, that's fun, that's nice. But once you start getting this into production, into enterprise, the requirements start going up, and you're not going to be able to get away with just layer 4. You're going to need to start.
Exactly. You will need layer 7, and you will need to extend it. And Kubernetes people as well, they like to customize things. They like to make things happen. They like to be, and that's really where all of that comes in. You can do a lot of custom resource definitions. You can do a lot of annotations as well. And so, the world's your oyster basically at that point.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, Chris.